Che bello, una nuova diretta dopo qualche mese. Let's go and invite Etienne. Hmm, something has changed. Ok. Inviti. Hmm, there's something different. Ciao a tutti. Parleremo in inglese, eh? We're gonna speak English. Ok. Let's invite Etienne. Etienne. Ok. Let's see the invitation. While people is entering the live. Ciao a tutti. Ok, Etienne should be here. Ok, no, not yet. Ok. Now he's gonna be with us in a while. There's something wrong? No, okay.
Bonjour.
There we go. Hi, Etienne. How are you?
Bonjour Alberto. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to put the. Can you see me here?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you, can hear you perfectly. There we go. Finally.
Hey.
Okay, so I've started to ask my followers about this live chat, and they were very happy to participate. They have left also some questions. The first one is my question is how you can describe your brand in few words.
Um, Existentialism. That was the word I used to. I love that name, existentialism. I think that Etat Libre is just a land of freedom, fun, eclecticism, emotion, no taboo. And we know that life is a tragedy. So in the meantime, we have to entertain and have fun, and the perfume is a fantastic way to counterattack the tragedy of life, make it meaningful. So just a meaningful brand with where emotion is sovereign.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, it's
absolutely.
the answer. I don't know what is the definition. Flotating. The definition of Etat d'Orange is always flotating. There is no, it's written on water, like John Keats used to say. My John Keats is an English poet.
Ah, okay. No, this one was missing.
No, just eclecticism and
Yeah,
poetry. I
yeah.
do not know what else.
That's interesting because what may be immediate for people is like all the sexy part, all the erotic part of the brand. While your brand is very full of meanings, of inspirations, but of messages. Is what hit me a lot, for example.
Yeah, merci beaucoup, Alberto. And we are a land of fantasy. And I love to say that if the Trinity of Etat Libre d'Orange, like the Catholic Trinity, but the Trinity of Orange is poetry, storytelling, and irony. I love the cynicism and irony on life. And so, yes, but poetry first, and then storytelling. We say conte in French. So I love to say in French the PHC, poetry, humour, and conte, which means storytelling.
Storytelling.
And no taboo. That's also the spirit of Etat Libre d'Orange. But poetry first, and then from beautiful poetry and beautiful emotion, you have a fantastic formulation. But the formulation is a kind of organic consequence of a fantastic poetry. Poetry first, poetry over formulation could be the definition of Etat Libre d'Orange.
That's interesting. But also the word taboo for me is very interesting and very actual because maybe you don't know, I sell perfume every day, also your perfumes. And
Merci. Keep Merci beaucoup,
oh,
Alberto.
it's a pleasure. And it's it's very interesting to see faces of customers when they approach bottles, one, for example, like that. Exactly. And they see that maybe they don't know at first the brand sometimes, sometimes they know, but maybe don't know the fragrance. And when they realize they find the fragrance in Italy with all the Catholic world,
Yeah.
is interesting to find people that sometimes astonish behind this, and they don't know how to understand, maybe.
Second degree. I
Yeah.
love second degree. You cannot walk through life without a second degree. Mocking yourself, mocking the other, but always positive. The idea is Etat Libre d'Orange comes with a second degree, and Putain des Palaces has a beautiful second degree. You can be a grande bourgeoise or a semi-mondaine. And I love that phrase on Putain des Palaces. We used to say, be a slut or just smell like one. And I love
Yes.
it. It's funny. You need a second degree on yourself, and it's a way to serve yourself. You know, you can run away from the tragedy of life just through the second degree. Cynicism. Diogène, you know Diogène, the philosopher.
No,
Diogène,
no.
the Greek philosopher. He was my everything. You know, it's in the antique Greek, he was cynical on things. So I'm a true follower of Diogène, an Etat Libre d'Orange spirit of Diogenes.
Yeah, interesting. I will search on it. I've seen that there are on the description of each fragrance. I've seen that there are a lot of messages, as I told you, and it's easy to understand that you have a lot of culture. I mean, that you.
Very superficial. I'm very superficial. You know, when people are always on skin, you don't go deep in, you know, and so that that's the art of superficiality. So I'm very superficial, but my mother was a Greek and Latin teacher, and
Okay.
a very, I was a rebel boy at that time, but the turning 50 now, I just remember all the teaching. And no, I'm very superficial. We play on skin. We don't go that deep. So
Yeah, you're right. It's immediate. It's an immediate message, but it's to me it's interesting the contrast because a lot of people, especially when there was, you remember that there were testers that were different and have images on
yeah,
the, and it was.
image.
Yeah, I've the one of Putan de Palace here,
Oh,
and it was.
it's a fantastic collector from the early age of Etat Libre d'Orange.
Exactly, but I have kept it because I found it groundbreaking. It was very interesting to see these reactions, as I told you, and to see how high-end people with search of a very unique fragrance, maybe they use this, I don't know, fragrances like Amouage
Mhm.
or others, and they were so intrigued by understand what can be the smell inside that bottle or the bottle that we have now because of the name. And it's very it was groundbreaking, and it is in a way because the brand is very successful, and so my compliments for the courage and not only you wanted to shock, but I think that you wanted also to convey messages with your superficiality, of course.
And no, but it's funny. In French, there is a word. I love that word. It means contre-pied, the art of contrast.
Yeah, also
So
in Italy, we have contropiede.
it's very much the spirit of Etat Libre d'Orange. We have the boutique downstairs where we are. It's located 69 Rue des Archives. Obviously, it's a fantastic erotic number. But I was a true fan of the place because it's a corner boutique. So we are on the angle. And the spirit of Etat Libre d'Orange is the art of contre-pied. That means that you pretend that you are not serious with a name such as Putain des Palaces, but on the other side, you just give a fantastic formulation. And that's the art of contre-pied. That's the art of Etat Libre d'Orange. And I love to take the perfumers on the road the less traveled of fantasy, but we back up everything with a beautiful formulation. And that art of fake sabotage,
Yeah.
that's a little bit Etat Libre d'Orange, a fake sabotage.
Yeah, that's an interesting word again. Sabotage. Yeah, but may I ask you what you would like? Sorry.
But maybe sabotage could be a fantastic name, the art of sabotage. And but maybe it's not that positive, so I won't be. But it's true. It's Scott Peck used to be a writer of the psychiatrist writer, and he said that that take the road the less traveled in life, and it's going to be much more beautiful to walk the road the less traveled. And I remember that phrase of Scott Peck, and I'm using that. So Etat Libre d'Orange is trying to walk the road the less traveled of déjà vu. And so take perfumers on storytelling such as Jasmine and Cigarette, The Afternoon of a Phone, Putain des Palaces, Magnificent Secretion, Tom of Finland.
Yes, and may I ask you about the reaction of the perfumer you have engaged in this brief at first? I mean, I think everyone is asking that.
I love when they are confused and confusion. So I remember taking, Antoine Lee at the foundation in Los Angeles to do a perfume on the praise of Tom of Finland and the erotic gay art of Tom of Finland. It was fun. He said, "You know what's going on? It's crazy. It's pornography." But no, it's fun. It's fun. It's part of the Vanity Fair. Yeah. So let's do it. And yeah, I love to take them on the, what do you call that? On the most dangerous side of perfume development. And collision. Etat Libre d'Orange is also a land of collision. We collide. Tilda Swinton, to invite Tilda Swinton doing a perfume on like this, wow. Or Alma. It's just collision. At the end, you just return to the soil and to the dust. So in the meantime, let's collide together on a true what do you call it? Sincerity and emotion. So that's the best way to counterattack. That tragedy. We know that at the end we die. So in the meantime, let's check the coconut tree of emotion and fantasy and not the art of sabotage maybe, but the art of collision. We take the perfume as a pretext to collide with somebody and to expand the consciousness and the memory of the instant.
Yeah. Yeah, and you told something by speaking of Tilda Swinton. Also, you did a collaboration. I mean, with Rossi De Palma, and one of my followers asked if you are planning to do other collaborations with celebrities, like so particular, like this one, or not.
We did plenty of collaboration with dead celebrities too, like Nijinsky with The Afternoon of a Phone, like Victor Hugo with Herman, À mes côtés me paraissait une ombre.
Okay.
And we did also a collaboration with Chandler Burr, with You or Someone Like You.
Yeah.
I would love to invite, maybe a filmmaker. I thought about inviting Milos Forman. I'm a true fan of Milos Forman. He's a filmmaker of the 70s, 80s. He did that film Amadeus, the film on the life of Mozart.
Yeah.
I have to invite, a guy such as Milos Forman. But I do not know. It depends on the collision. I've got nothing planned.
Mm-hmm.
I've got nothing planned.
Let's see what's gonna happen.
And we're working on something for this year, for the second semester, based on the human paradox. So it's I love I love that human paradox. Human beings are amazing through science and mysticism. They create amazing things. But from time to time, instead of going for utopia, they create a dystopia. So we call it the human paradox. And I think that it's a fantastic theme for a perfume. And so we'll be doing something based on the human paradox.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. But I know you're not going to tell very much more about this, I think.
If you pay me a lot, I will give you the name. But it's I'm
I
a
don't know
very
if there's the button to give now.
if Alberto and but I will soon reveal. But it's a beautiful poetry.
Yeah.
It's related to Japan and
Sorry, Japan.
Japan.
Yeah.
You will like it.
Okay.
You will like it. And human paradox. That's the theme. And what is the future of mankind?
Let's see, and I think it's very actual as a theme.
And I give you one word: transhumanism.
Wow.
And from transhumanism, you can think about what, in terms of formulation, if we
I don't know how to guess. Maybe you can reveal the olfactory family, maybe, or the olfactory area.
the blend of a flower and the metal.
Wow. Contrast again, contrast.
When the confusion of dystopia and utopia. That's a little bit the human paradox. Where do we go truly? What would be the 21st century, and what is the future of mankind? Was also the theme for the perfumer. It's going to be sans sass. It will be nice. It's a good way to reboot a little bit, and shake the coconutry of the industry, like the way we did with I Am Trash, upcycling, recycling, the poetry of the trash with I Am Trash. So it's the poetry of technology.
Yeah, I found it genius to push on that, especially in the fragrance world, because it's you are, I mean, the first brand that I've heard to speak about recycling, to speak about being conscious also in purchasing perfumes.
It's not the ecology. I Am Trash. I try to protect. I don't want to. The idea is the poetry of the trash, and to tell the world that through, we can reconnect with beauty through the trash. That there is trashes are meaning. Trash are, it's meaningful, and we can use a perfume to tell the world that we have to be that trash, yes, but not wasted. And I remember that the first catchphrase for I Am Trash, we used to say, when the world becomes filthy, that means dirty. When the world becomes dirty, filthy, might as well wear it. Let's wear it on skin. So, but it was a fantastic process of development with Daniela Andrier and Givaudan. But it was difficult. It's very tricky because when you are diving into the trash of Givaudan, you have to clean once again all the ingredients. So it was a nightmare in terms of development. So it was much more complex than what I thought at the beginning, but it was worthy. I Am Trash is a meaningful program, and it's very modern. It belongs to the 21st century. It's the first modern. We have to be 2021 to tell to have a modern perfume with I Am Trash. It is so meaningful with what's going on. And but it's not ecology, because with the glass bottle we are polluting, with the cap we are polluting, with the logistic we are polluting. So it's
yeah, maybe it's not 100% speaking of ecology, but I know that the alcohol is
the symbolic is meaningful, and it's very modern, and it's a beautiful creation of Daniela, especially with that little touch of strawberry. And she said in French, I want to give you something very modern. And she said, René Char is a French poet, and he said in a verse, Madame, vous serez une part de la saveur du fruit. That means that you will be part of the flavor of the fruit. That means that, the cycle of life, the tree of life, is you return to the soil and you will be part of the flavor of the fruit itself. So it's a verse of René Char, and I think that she was right. I Am Trash everything is interconnected. It's a kind of no, it's the I Am Trash. Les fleurs du déchet was the code name at the beginning. Les fleurs du déchet. And François de Malherbe, a poet of the 18th century, said in France, et les fruits passeront la promesse des fleurs, and the fruits will carry on the message of the flowers. Sorry, my Italian is so weak, so I don't want to try.
No.
you will lose all your followers if I go with my Italian.
No, I think I will lose my followers if I start pronouncing the name of your perfumes because I have so many troubles with French. I'm sorry, but
No, no.
no, I think I absolutely got the point. And what's really making me happy is how from your speaking, how artistic. Your perfumes are sounding right now, and I'm very happy because I'm I don't know what to say in English. I'm like I'm so inside art and perfumery. Sorry, I can't explain. I mean, I think that perfumes are so undervaluated sometimes as artworks, and so I'm very, very happy to on my channel, of course, to show brands that are so into the art aspect, also in perfumery. And by your describing the fragrances, there's art, there's poet, there's everything. And what is to me is really interesting is that is behind some so direct titles, namings. So opposite sometimes. And I think it's very interesting also because as an experiment, because I've seen a lot of people like staying apart. Okay, I cannot buy a fragrance that have such a name. This is to ask you a question. That is, which reactions, bad reactions, have you ever seen, have you ever heard regarding your perfumes?
Maybe the pornography of Tom of Finland.
No.
And people, they say we cannot consider Etat Libre d'Orange because it's too porn. I remember that with Tom of Finland because I was using dirty drawings of Tom of Finland.
Yeah.
Packaging at the beginning. And some people, they were not ready to go for Etat Libre d'Orange because it was too, what do you call that, too naughty for them. And with Tom of Finland, some people, they were a little bit narrow-minded. They said, oh no, it's that brand is too sexual oriented. And so I have to say thank you to Tilda Swinton, because when she came on board to develop a perfume with Etat Libre d'Orange, she was a good way to tell the world that we were just a land of eclecticism with no taboo and no diktat. And so I remember that Tom of Finland was not so easy because it put us a kind of stamp of pornography, of dirty, erotic gay art. And with Putain des Palaces also, some people, they say, big buyers of department store in the US say, oh no, we cannot carry Etat Libre d'Orange because they have that perfume, Putain des Palaces. So I remember, but I don't mind. I don't mind. And we are still alive and growing. And
yeah, absolutely.
the philosophy of no diktat, except on the quality of the formulation. No diktat. But in terms of art, there is a perfume that I like, which is not the bestseller of Etat Libre d'Orange, but it's part of the. It's a beautiful, very arty. It's the afternoon of a faune, l'après-midi d'un faune.
Yeah.
Because it's a true synesthesia. I met a kind of a very nice person, and he was teaching me the history of the 20th century, and he was very knowledgeable in art. And one day in 2012, he called me and he said, Etienne, you know what happened? And he pointed, he was living just above the Théâtre du Châtelet in Paris, and he pointed at the Théâtre du Châtelet. His name was Jacques Damas. He was an amazing guy. Mine. And he said, you know what happened 100 years ago here? And I said, no, it was and he said, it was the Russian ballet, les ballets russes. And you've heard about Nijinsky? And I said, yeah, he's a dancer. He said, oh, okay, so you know a little bit. And he said, yeah, and what did he dance? And I said something about the faune. Or he said, he danced the prelude to the afternoon of a faune. And don't you think that it would be a fantastic perfume name? Because there is the music of Debussy, there is the poetry of Stéphane Mallarmé, and something is missing. There is the dance of Václav Nijinsky, and as a synesthesia, you have to, to finish, the round circle with creating a perfume. So in terms of synesthesia, yes, the afternoon of the phone is it could be the definition of doing the round circle of synesthesia.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one, the afternoon of the phone.
Yeah, I can remember, and I like it.
That's very much open up. Etat Libre d'Orange is just open up to everything, and thing will happen. A collision will happen, or and the afternoon of the phone is if you like the that kind of synesthesia, you've got it with the afternoon of the phone.
Okay, but if I can ask another question, would be the reverse of the last question I did. I mean, compliments. Which have you ever received or noticed particular compliments on what you've done? I mean, your creations, perfumes, something maybe that you were not expecting, something you can tell us.
No, I remember at the very beginning of Etat Libre d'Orange, a friend of mine said, "Oh, I love your brand. It's beautiful PR, no sales."
Oh.
No, I remember, and I said,
"Unfollow."
No, I don't care. No, Etat Libre d'Orange. A friend of mine said, and it's meaningful. I love your brand because it's meaningful. So I think it was a nice compliment, and on Fat Electrician, I've received a fantastic compliment from a guy. He wrote me an email, and it was so beautiful. He said, "Hey, I am your Fat Electrician. I've got too many bills, too many kids," and he wrote me the story of his life, and it was so beautiful. I said, "Give me your audio voice. Could you read your email? And I just want to do a film on Fat Electrician, just you reading your email, because your email was so existentialist."
Yeah.
And that's the film we did on Fat Electrician, because it's a true story. That's the curse of beauty. And Fat Electrician, yes, I've had a fantastic compliment. And we did a film from that email that I've received from an American fan of Fat Electrician. Meaningful, yes, meaningful, and
I'm also a huge fan of Fat Electrician. I mean,
yeah. I've got a brother, he's a cardiologist in the south of France, and he saves life every day. And I told him, I feel a little bit frustrated because you are saving life, and I'm so useless with doing perfumes when you are saving life. And he said, no, you are not useless, because if everything is fundamental, it's a pure despair. So you need frivolity. Frivolity is fundamental, and so you are useful. And don't think that and you play a role in the what do you call that? You play a role in the human comedy, and is not. So he was nice with that notion of, yes, we are truly fundamental with the with that perfume industry, because we keep people alive.
Yes, and we help people to have, and you help people to have character, to convey messages, to feel something, I mean, about themselves, and to help people understand their personality, like when you choose a shirt or something. And also maybe, as I have learned right now, to understand more about poet, art, etc.
Yeah, it's what do you say in English? It's a merry-go-round. It's like a farandole around, when you go in a... C'est un manège. Et there is a perfume that we are just about to launch. It was available at Selfridges, but it's going to be released worldwide soon. The name is Soul of My Soul, âme de mon âme. It's even better in French, but the name of the perfume will be launched soon, and the name of the perfume is âme de mon âme.
Okay.
Soul, and I think that it was a good name for a perfume, because a perfume is a supplement of soul. It's a kind of soul extension, and so we call it Soul of My Soul. because I remember when I was a little boy, my mother used to read me Les Mille et Nuits, you know, the Arabian
Sì,
1000 and
Mille e una notte, sì. Yes.
and when there is a love affair, the lover calls the other lover and he said, âme de mon âme, ma princesse. You know, each time, you know, it starts with soul of my soul, âme de mon âme. And I think that it was a beautiful way to name a perfume.
Yeah.
And I love that spirit because yes, it's a kind of supplement of soul. And
Absolutely.
it's a good one. It's a good one. And what else? Sorry.
Yeah.
And then,
No, that's super interesting. I have another question for you. And I would like to know if you can share with us maybe something autobiographical that when you decide related, sorry, to some perfumes of your collection. If there's any inspiration that for this perfume that came from something autobiographical.
the king, you know, is definitely something. Exit
Sorry,
the king is
there was a call. Sorry. What have you said?
no, maybe exit the king. You know,
Exit the
that's
King.
the that's. No, I'm kidding. Maybe I think that there is one. Is Herman à mes côtés me paraissait une ombre.
Oh,
Herman side seemed to be a shadow, and it's a verse of Victor Hugo. But my grandmother used to read loudly when I was a young boy. You know, try to teach me a little bit poetry, and she said she was teaching me Victor Hugo, and she was, you know, reading loudly the poem of Victor Hugo, À quoi songeaient les deux cavaliers dans la forêt. It's a storytelling of two riders, and they ride in a forest, and one rider is full of despair, and the other one is full of hope. So that's the pathway of everybody in life, to be balanced between despair and hope. And so it's a fantastic dark romanticism of Victor Hugo. And my grandmother was frightening me with that voice. Herman à mes côtés me paraissait une ombre. So that's the beginning of the poem. And I was looking for a perfume based on Goethe. Goethe was the Goethe and Victor Hugo, and I said let's take that verse because it's that's the dark romanticism. I love the 19th century in France, and especially the dark 19th century romantic poetry, the one of Gérard de Nerval, the one of Victor Hugo, and Musset. I love that. I love that kind of being worried about being alive, and I love that dark romantic poetry, like the Der Elkönig, Le Roi des Zones of Goethe, and that you have to suffer to feel yourself alive. That was a little bit that kind of poetry. I'm a true fan of Hugo also, and Chateaubriand, and so I said let's do something on the 19th century dark romanticism, and I remember that. Sorry, I was long.
No, no problem. You can say whatever you want. It's everyone here wanted to know everything.
It's a true autobiography somehow, with a kind of bowing to my grandmother and the poetry she was teaching me, and it was a fantastic development of Quentin Biche, the perfumer. He was very excited with that storytelling of the 19th century, and he belongs to literature, and so he was very much involved and excited. And he gave us a beautiful formulation, plus experimentum crucis. That we have on the Isaac Newton. He was an amazing guy, Isaac Newton, because he discovered so many things for mankind. And at the end of his life, the notion of gravity, the notion of mechanism and everything, he put that in a book, and the main title of the book was Experimentum Crucis, Les Expériences Cruciales, related to the Christ. And I think that was a good name to express the gravity of ingredients. Praise a little bit the beauty of Isaac Newton. He was the poet of the rainbow, because he was the first one to tell the world that the diffraction of the light going through a glass prism is not the property of a glass, but the property of a light. So he was a very kind of advanced front runner, and I think that he deserved the perfume created by Quentin Biche. And Quentin said, I want to create a world and say what could be the world if Isaac Newton would have received a rose on his head instead of an apple.
Wow.
Of his creation. Experimentum crucis.
Yeah, and it's super good. I mean, it's a so particular rose. It's I've never smelled anything like that. To me, it's like a vinylic rose. I don't know if it's in English. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like vinyl. You know that everyone experience differently perfumes. And to me it was so weird at first, and then I got used, and now it's a fragrance that I really love. Yeah.
There is something, you know, it's a shame we are two cousins through the Latin roots of our languages on both sides, Italian and French, and we have to go through the naughty Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah.
You know, that's something. Yeah, but that's part of that's the.
Yeah, you're right. To be honest, I really love French. I love the sounds. I love hearing and seeing people speaking French. I understand like 80%, no, 70%, and but to me it's impossible to pronounce it. Yeah.
For me in Italian, I can understand what you're saying, but you know, I'm not ready to jump into the. I'm not ready to jump, and I feel totally disabled. And so we have to go through the English, but it's a nonsense because we are cousins from the Latin.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I have another question for you. If is about satisfaction that I think is very related to your brand. But the question is, which perfumes you created gave you more satisfaction in terms of creation process? Like you have mentioned a lot, I think, like about working with the perfumers or the formula or the inspiration. I don't know if there's one in particular that you want to say or not.
Maybe the afternoon of the phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Magnificent Secretion. I was young at that time. That was in 2005, 2006. Magnificent Secretion. It was also a fantastic time of development. But I love all the freaks we have at Etat Libre d'Orange, from Herman to Exit the King. So, but I remember the beginning of Etat Libre d'Orange with Magnificent Secretion, expressing the viral risk of the 80s. You know, you're lost in between attraction and repulsion, protecting yourself or going for the danger. So that was Magnificent Secretion. Then, yeah, the afternoon of a phone, the time of development with that beautiful sincerity and knowledge of Jacques Damas, that amazing guy. He was a friend of Cocteau. He was a friend of Aragon, the French poet. And he was a remain of the 20th century, and he was passing on the knowledge of the 20th century into the 21st century. And he was teaching me. So yes, the process of the afternoon of the phone was a good time. And Putain des Palaces, it was fun also. And also the Tom of Finland Foundation was also very fun. Rossi de Palma, Tilda Swinton, they were fantastic, beautiful minds on board. So, but if I have to take only one, if I have to answer with only one, the afternoon of the phone.
Oh, really? To me, it was so unexpected. I was expecting more like Fat Electrician or.
Fat Electrician, it's fun because. Oh yes, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm.
I don't know how I can know you it, but maybe I haven't been there. But I don't know. To me,
yeah, Fat Electrician was fun. Yeah, the name was supposed to be Pink Narcissus at the very beginning. We invited
like
a few.
Like the reference I've read.
Yeah, but it was too complex to get the name Pink Narcissus and everything, and so I remember when I've asked James Vidgood at that time, you know, what's going on with your lover with whom you did that film, Pink Narcissus, is he still alive? And he said, oh, no, he's nothing else than a fat electrician in New Jersey. So I thought that the name Fat Electrician was and that's the attitude of Etat Libre d'Orange. no taboo. And I remember Antoine Maisondieu, the perfumer, he said, "You won't be calling it fat electrician, it's insane." And I said, "No, let's go for it, it's fun."
And that's, I think it's that sums up your attitude, Etat Libre d'Orange attitude, I think, to have fun, but to have a good formula, and and have a super perfume. I mean, there's such an interesting contrast, as I told you at first. And every day I can spray Fat Electrician when somebody asks me for a good vetiver that is not so used, that is not so common. To me, it's so good when this person asked me for the name of the perfume, and I said, yeah, of course it's a Fat Electrician, and to see the reaction and to see how they start to be engaged with all the brand. They are curious, start to be curious to know all the other fragrances, and this make me happy to select people that can understand this kind, that want to understand this kind of message or what's behind the surface, etc. And to me, it's really interesting.
Yeah, to enter Etat Libre d'Orange, you need to open up with a second degree. Otherwise, you will be confused. Otherwise, you will be. Etat Libre d'Orange is a place where we include. It's an inclusive perfume house. We are not. What do you call that?
Yeah, you don't want to select.
Yeah, some perfume house. I remember when I was long ago, they used to say, "Oh, it's exclusive," but you know, that means that you exclude. And at Etat Libre d'Orange, we invite, you know, all the human comedy, all the human genders with no taboo, gay, straight, confused, whatever. I've been raised by a mother where she was very open. And she was in New Caledonia, she was a Greek and Latin teacher, and she was very open. And I've been forged by a kind of no taboo attitude. And I love being on the borders. You know, you belong to no sides. A border is a place where everything starts and everything ends. And I love that attitude, being on the border. That's the reason we do sign on the angle. Yeah. Because the angle is a place that belongs to no one. You can pretend you are one flank, or you can pretend you are the other side, but you are nowhere and everywhere at the same time. So Etat Libre d'Orange is a perfume house on the borders with no patria, except the journey in life. And one day we disappear, we do not exist. I'm not negative, I'm very positive.
No,
but
I know. But
with perspective, yeah.
But I can understand that also these times can affect everyone. I mean, not to affect, maybe it's not the right word, but maybe can makes us think more about what's happening, about the relationship between people. Before maybe they can want to be not exclusive, but so personal. Now maybe we want to start to be more like other persons. And on this, I have another question that relates Exit the King, which is the latest fragrance that you
Long live the Queen. But Exit the King, yes. It's about the... sorry, go on with the question.
Yeah, the question is, if it's easy. I mean, if you can explain us Exit the King, because I've understood that can be... No, it's the one that you have released in this period. And so I want to know what this period can affect the launch, but not in terms of results, in terms of creativity, of what happened.
Exit the King, I was explaining to my daughter the screenplay of Ionesco, Le Roi se meurt. And that it was translated in you know, the screenplay in English. Le Roi se meurt of Ionesco is a writer from the 20th century in France, and the screenplay was translated by Exit the king. And I think that the phrase was fantastic. It was a kind of Shakespearean motto that means that the king has his reign and then he dies. And I love that. I love that biology. You can be a king, you can control the world, control the galaxy, you can be the king of the galaxy, but at the end you die. At the end you just return to the soil. And that process of life, it gives you perspective of your own vanity. And I keep on saying that the best perfume name ever would be Vanity Fair. And Exit the King is a way to say the Vanity Fair. That means that it says that woman is the future of mankind also, because Exit the King, it means, you know, long live the queen. But it's much more than that. It calls a little bit, you know, the antique fall of Icarus, you know, la chute d'Icare. And you in Rome, long ago, you used to say that la roche tarpéienne is not that far away from the Capitol. The Tarpeian rock is not that far away
Yes. Yeah.
the top, but at the end you fall. And I love that, you know, that cycle of things. You can be a king. Look at the COVID, it's fantastic. You know, the virus, the COVID, you just realize that your own biology is very fragile. So you can be strong, but then you get infected and you are nobody. And that perspective of being so quickly a Mr. Nobody is absolutely fantastic. So Exit the King, it says, at the end you fall, but fall with panache and get a good scent with you. Exit the King.
I personally have felt a lot like a message of no boundaries. I mean, do whatever you want. I mean, by reading the description. And I love that message because I think it's maybe one of the things that we have to learn right now is that, okay, the time is now, like Nike, just do it. I mean, go, don't expect because you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. And,
exactly.
I really love the fragrance, also the idea of a chypre, of a soapy fragrance that can be.
No.
Sorry.
It's very it is chic, and Exit the King. It means that biology is everything. When I created Etat Libre d'Orange, I was very much into praising singularity. Get, you know, that singularity on yourself, and go for something, a very singular perfume. So that was the beginning of Etat Libre d'Orange. But the more I go in life, and the more I'm holding with Etat Libre d'Orange, and I think that we have to become universal. That means that if we consider ourselves a product of singularity, then it's a wrong direction. We are just one single people, and I love. We have to imitate the insect.
So that's what's happening.
Sorry.
No, can you? Ah, okay. Sorry, there was a problem with the connection, I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we were in the more interesting part. You said we were one single people.
Yeah, that means, I know that phrase, that word Ubuntu. It's a Causa word from Africa, and I think that it means that we are all interconnected. No, when I started Etat Libre d'Orange, we are producing perfume, and we are praising the notion of singularity. Get something very singular on your skin and everything, which is true. But I'm realizing, especially with the biology of the COVID, especially with the ecology, we are just one single interconnect people. And I love that Exit the King. It tells the world that don't consider yourself as a true singularity, but dilute yourself into a vast ocean of universality. And then somehow the future of mankind is trying to take perspective on your what do you call that, vain singularity, and adopt a kind of insect attitude. Insect?
Yeah. And I can understand.
Maybe the King has, it's meaningful because it's very Shakespearean. It's quite eternal. And don't think that you are don't think that you are a king, because at the end your biology will take you down. So think that one day you will fall, and prepare your fall with a good scent, to fall with panache. And but your vision of Exit the King is also,
No,
and
I didn't want to change
no, no, no. And there is a Charles Péguy poem about les châteaux de la Loire, about the castle of the Loire, and he said, il dit, et je connais un château plus haut que le château de Blois, plus haut que la terrasse où les derniers Valois regardaient le soleil se coucher dans sa gloire. It is about the samsara of what do you call that, of mankind. That means
okay.
that, and humbleness,
Yeah.
humble.
Yeah.
Man, so I've had a lot of coffee today, and I'm giving.
No, you were perfect. Really, it was such an interesting live. I'm so happy, really. I've run out of questions. You're lucky, so I'm not going to push to know other things. And really, thank you very much, Etienne. It was, yeah, I think me and my followers were waiting a lot for the new release. We want to learn more about what's going to be behind, and of course to try the formula that I think is going to be amazing, like the ones that you have give us habit to try and to wear and to feel good with them.
Biotechnology into a formulation is a nightmare.
Biotechnology
into a formulation is a nightmare. No, but it's going to be a sensation.
No, I know.
And I hope that when we will counterattack the COVID, we can meet again. And
I hope so. Yeah.
Together. I love your country. You are.
Thank you very much. I love France too, and I really want to travel again, like I think everyone else. And to go to Paris, to go on at Rue des Archives 69.
Yeah. Connected from each other, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, kill Mr. COVID. But yeah, but but it's meaningful also what's going on. It gives a new perspective on
things, yeah.
Everything. It gives so we have to think about the positiveness of it. But let's meet again and let's interconnect and check hands without suspicious.
Yeah.
Without suspicious.
Yeah, we have to start retouching each other, because we are not used to.
Let's soon infect each other without any consequences.
You're right. Yeah, you have to start be carefree again about all these things, all these details.
And thank you for transferring the passion to your followers and everything. And thank you for considering Etat Libre d'Orange on your shelves.
Oh, of course. I'm super happy and honored to have it.
So Exit the King is definitely Italian, because it started long ago in Roma with the Tarpeian Rock is not that far away from Capitol. So it's definitely an Italian perfume about the antique fall and the imperial Roma.
Okay, right. I think that when we are going to meet, at first I will, I mean, days before, for sure, I will restudy some books, because
No. Be like the way I am, be superficial.
Okay. Like, no, this I'm super good in being superficial. Yeah, I love K-pop music. I love a lot of superficial things, like brainwashing every day myself on things.
Yeah.
But I love also when I find art and when I find good things, like in your brand, for example.
Alberto, merci, and
thank you.
Have a good time. Protect yourself.
See you, I hope, soon. Okay.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.
Salut.